Magandang gabi, Pilipinas. Magandang gabi, Batangas. Naku, eto na naman tayo. Kumusta na po kayo? Kumusta po? Kumusta na po yung inyong mga nagdaang linggo? Naku, ako po'y nag-skip ng isang linggo dahil nga po sa may pinasyalan ng pamilya. Pero eto na naman. Nagko-cover tayo ng ating show na kung saan ay tayo ay magkukwentuhan uli kasama ang ating ilang mga guests dito sa ating webcast. Ang ating pong webcast ay mapapanood sa Facebook profile po at saka sa YouTube channel ng inyong lingkod. Ganun din, at kung magtatagumpay ang aking connection doon sa Vim TV ay mapapanood nyo rin po sa Vim TV. Kaya po, magandang gabi po at sana po ay mag-enjoy po kayo sa ating mga pag-uusapan. So, nakikita nyo po dito sa ating unang-unang bahagi na meron po tayong babanggitin at ika nga po ay ipapakilala at lagi naman po sa pagsimula ng ating show ay ito po ang ating ginagawa. So, ang una po ay ang interface po na DBuzz. So, narito po na kung saan ay makikita nyo dito sa trending page ang post po ni atma.love. Ayan. So, sa mga hindi pa rin po nakakaalam kung ano po si DBuzz, ito po ay parang Twitter. Na kung saan ay you can post anything like this. At ika nga po dito po sa DBuzz, kagaya po ng nakikita po ninyo, ito po ay ayan po, censorship resistant. Ayan nga po, na kung saan ang inyong account ay pagmamayari po ninyo kasi ito po ay nasa blockchain at ito po ay protektado ng bawat susi o keys na inyong ginagamit. Ito po ay decentralized ang network at ito po ay isang microblogging platform na nasa Web3. So medyo maraming mga sangkap ito pong ating DBuzz na ito. Ayan. So ito po ang mga post. Ayan, at sana po ay magustuhan ninyo ang paggamit ng DBuzz. So kung kayo po interesado sa paggamit ng social media o Web3 application na ito, mag-post lang po kayo ng comment dyan sa baba para po inyo pong makita. Para po makipag-communicate po kayo sa amin at ma-replyan po namin kayo kung paano po kayo mapapasama o magiging bahagi ng DBuzz community. Isa pa rin po na sa pagsisimula po ng ating show ay ito naman pong Phil News XYZ. Itong Phil News XYZ ay isa pong online news magazine na kung saan po ay kakikitaan ng napakaraming mga balitang napapanahon. Particularly yung gusto ko dito yung tungkol sa crypto Pero ito yung i-highlight ko ngayon ay ang article na ginawa ni Brother Ed Umbao nitong February 5 na kung saan ay nagsasabi na social media surpasses 5 billion user and its impact on the Philippines. Well, dati na naman, di ba, ang mga Pilipino in text capital na sa buong mundo. Ay ngayon, talagang mas lalong nangunguna pa rin. Nangunguna at hindi nagpapahuli ang mga Pilipino sa paggamit ng social media. So, basahin natin ang unang bahagi. Social media usage worldwide is hitting some remarkable numbers as it reached a significant milestone. Active social media users surpassing the 5 billion mark, accounting for about 62.3% of global population. Mahigit ng kalahati ng populasyon ng buong mundo. Ay nasaan na kaya yung natitira? Siguro baka bata pa o kaya naman medyo matatanda na o sadya talagang mga nasa remote area na kung saan ay walang kahit ano o walang telepono o walang mga gadget na kung saan siguro sila para makapag dive into social media. Sabi pa dito, media monitoring company Meltwater, sa ganun ang galing ang statistics, and social media agency We Are Social documented the remarkable growth in the study and publish it online. So, ang nangunguna po ay syempre si Meta o si Facebook. Actually, sa Pilipinas kasi ay gamit po talaga si Facebook kasi ginagamit po siyang vehicle for communication. Vehicle din po siya sa pag-post ng mga relevant content na kung saan ay assignment o kaya ay task din po ng mga estudyante. Again, ang social media po ay maiisip ninyo na may negative side, pero meron ding positive side. Ika nga ay marami pong positive side ang bawat bagay, at kung titingnan yung negative, meron din naman. Kaso, again, nasa paggamit po ang ikasasama o ikabubuti ng social media, at kahit ng anong bagay, nasa paggamit. So, nariyang economic opportunities and digital challenges. Daming nagbebenta, ginagawang business platform ang Facebook, 'di ba? Ang TikTok, ang Instagram, 'di ba? Pagpo-promote na kanilang mga product. So, yan, ginagawa ng mga Pilipino yan. The role of social media in Filipino education and politics. Oo naman, kaming mga guro, lalo sa public school, ay gamit na gamit ang social media. At syempre, hindi lang naman na sa paggamit, tinuturuan din namin ng mga bata kung ano yung mga safe na dapat gawin pag ikaw ay nasa internet. At may mga subject na tumatalakay kung paano dapat ang paggalaw sa internet. At i-share po natin yan sa ating klase. So, ayan po, napakagandang pagtalakay, napakagandang pagtalakay ng tungkol sa ating katatayuan sa social media. Kaya, eto na, punta na po tayo sa ating main show. Although daanan ko muna tong Vim. Ayan, ako ang Vim. Ayan, sige, punta na po tayo sa ating main show. Brother Ed, kumusta?
Okay lang, Sir DBuzz. Magandang gabi po sa lahat.
Ano bang bago? At simulan mo ulit dahil medyo ang topic nga natin ni catch up. Catch up tayo ngayon. So, simulan mo na, brother, ang pagtalakay kung ano yung mga pangyayari o naganap nitong mga nagdaang 2 linggo.
Okay, magandang gabi po sa lahat uli. Maraming salamat, Sir Rodel, sa pag-feature mo na naman ng aking website ng philnews.xyz. Medyo na-busy ako ng mga nakaraang araw kasi meron tayong pinagkakaabalahan. Pagkatapos ng preparation natin sa Activate, hindi ko pa masyadong nakuha yung mga details kung ano na yung kung nasaan na sila ngayon, kung ano na yung ginagawa ng Davao DeFi community. At actually nung nakaraan dumalo kami sa isang Sulana event na dito din sa Davao, at naging successful naman ang lahat na nakilala natin yung si Mr. John Forfar. Actually isa siyang ambassador ng Australian Solana community. Isa siya sa mga whales, or tinatawag natin na isa sa mga nauna kumbaga, paglabas pa lang ng Solana, ando na yung community nila. Isa siyang developer at naka-base, andito siya ngayon sa Davao, at patuloy siyang nakikipag-ugnayan kina Nathan at Chris. Meron nata silang close na pagmi-meeting pa, dahil gusto rin naman ng DBuzz na hindi lang tayo limited doon sa hive blockchain. Kumbaga, nakikipag-ugnayan din tayo sa iba pang mga blockchain. Lalo na yung Solana na talaga namang nakikita natin yung nila ngayon, yung sila yung isa sa lumalakas na crypto ecosystem maging dito sa Pilipinas. Biglang ang daming mga community. Papasalamat tayo sa super team, Solana super team sa Philippines, na nagkaroon sila ng malawakang event featuring different Web3 community sa Bacolod, meron din sa Cebu, meron din sa Manila. At iyon, makikita natin na talagang vibrant yung community ng blockchain, lalo na yung sa Solana community. Kaya tayo din sa Hive at DBuzz ay nagpatuloy din tayo sa pag-support ng kanilang mga project, ng kanilang mga community gatherings, lalo na dito sa Davao. At salamat sa DDC. Naging kabahagi nga tayo ng committee. At yun, nagpapasalamat ako sa kanila na binigyan din ng pagkakataon yung mga core team ng DBuzz at Hive dito sa Davao na maging kabahagi sa mga preparasyon ng Sulana Super Team. At isa yun sa natin, pinagkakabalaman, at maliban doon, nakipag-ugnayan din ako sa vlogging community dito sa Davao. At ito naman talaga ang isa sa gusto ko ring interesado din ako makibahagi sa mga vlogging community kasi alam ko yung pinpoints ng pagbablog, at isa na rin to sa pagkakataon na baka sakali kapag na-penetrate ko na yung vlogging community, lalo na dito sa Davao kasi isa to sa mga strong community sa Pilipinas kasi this started way back 2006. So limited yung nila, yung acceptance ng membership. At nagpapasalamat ako sa kanila kasi nakikita nila yung interest ko na makipag-ugnayan, at ito yung pwede nating masabi natin na ito yung gateway natin na makibahagi tayo sa Web 2 community. Ang sa ganun madala din natin sila sa Web 3. At yun,
Brother,
meron
maputol kita ng saglit. Alam mo, panahon na para ang mga traditional vlogger ay pumunta na sa Web 3. Kasi it's been decades already na ginagawa ng mga vloggers from dati pa nga kumbaga centralized na dati, may mga free website. Ngayon medyo meron na silang kanilang mga domain, may silang kanilang mga site, pero outdated na 'di ba? Ngayon talagang dapat mas gumamit na sila ng teknolohiya, take advantage yung Web3 and blockchain. Siguro iyong adventure na yan ay talagang magdudulot ng mas magandang impact unti-unti. Magsisimula dyan sa Davao City, sa mga grupo dyan, ay talagang susuportahan natin yan. At ika nga, itong mga nakikinig sa atin ay nakabantay. At kita ko nga, brother, yung yung kasama ka doon sa mga magagaling na vlogger, tungkol doon? Na-feature ka, pogi-pogi mo doon eh.
Yun, na welcome ako ng vlogging community dito sa Davao. At nung una kasi matagal na akong gustong sumali talaga sa mga vlogging community, pero dati parang nagtatago pa ako, yung hindi ako nagpapakita na ako pala yung nagsusulat sa ganitong site. So ngayon siguro naman it's the right time kasi meron na tayong product na nasa DBuzz tayo, nasa Hive tayo. At alam ko yung pinpoints kasi mahirap ngayon ang mag-vlog, mahirap na makapasa sa Google AdSense, maging sa iba pang mga monetization. So kumbaga, right timing kasi andyan yung Hive, andyan yung community na strong community, at yung anong tinatawag nito, yung talent nila kumbaga, hindi lang kasi pag nagba-vlog ka, naka-focus ka doon sa maaaring yung maaaring in return or in exchange sa yung pagsusumikap, na hindi lang sa sumikat ka, kundi kahit papaano meron din kakaunting monetary value yung mo. So susubukan ko na makipag-ugnayan sa kanila kasi yung Davao Davao Vloggers Society naman ay alam ko interesado din sila sa mga, nagkaroon na sila ng mga kunting tanong sa mga sinusulat ko kasi mga terms kasi natin sa Web3 medyo bago sa kanila. Kaya yun, unti-unti lang, one step at a time, maging ano din sa kanila yun, ma-aware din sila kung ano yung mga pagbabago sa technology, ano yung pwede nila ding maiambag kasi mga sanay na yung iba sa kanila, mga matatagal nang nagsusulat eh. Kaya pag nadala natin sila sa Web3, talaga namang napakalaki ng future. Yun ang isa sa mga purpose natin na makipag-ugnayan din sa mga vlogging community.
At totoo naman na disrupted talaga kahit ang news, 'di ba? Ang industriya ng pagbabalita disrupted ng vlogging, at syempre yung traditional vlogging ay disrupted naman yung platform ng cryptocurrency and blockchain platforms. Ano? Kasi nagbabago ang panahon, nangangailangan ng bagong teknolohiya at nangangailangan ng mga bagong pagkilos. Kasama na nga dyan yung monetization eh. Isa din yan eh, yung nagbago. Di ba brother, binabanggit mo na yung paano ka kikita sa vlog, medyo naghirap o sabihin nag-stricto o kaya naman totally ay talagang nabablock ka. Ano? At syempre sa mga centralized platform na ika nga sentro na ng pagbablog ngayon, ay dyan ka pa rin lalong nababan. Kaya welcome ang mga traditional vloggers at saka yung mga old and new vloggers. Go to Hive, go to DBuzz para kumbaga meron kayong other avenues ng inyong content. Ano? Brother Ed, di ba? Ganun yun eh.
Yeah. Yes, at excited ako na hindi ko pa sila na-meetin sa lang kami sa chat at ganon sa mga hindi ko rin inakala na sa tagal ko na nagsusulat, sa tagal ko na rin gustong sumali sa mga vlogging community. Dito lang ako sa Davao nagkaroon ng pagkakataon or kumbaga sinubukan ko namang sumali sa ibang mga vlogging communities. Pero parang hindi sila siguro naging hindi ganong open na ako pala talaga yung nagsusulat sa ganitong site kasi dati naman medyo alanganin tayo may na tayo meron na ang dami ko nang naisulat nasa 14,000 articles ata na isulat ko sa philnews.ph. Pero pag nagkukwento ka na ganito ako yung vlogger na ganyan, parang hindi pa nila masyadong accepted ng ibang hindi siguro kasi medyo sikat na site, tapos yun parang hindi rin ako ganong nagpapakita at nagpapakilala. Pero dito sa Davao dahil meron tayong product na pwedeng sa kanila. At gusto ko rin na ma-onboard yung mga vloggers kasi ako nawalan din ng gana sa pagbablog. Kasi nga lumiit talaga ang kita, sa totoo lang. Except lang siguro kapag meron kang partnership or merong mga big brands na susuporta sa iyo. Pero pag solo vlog ka lang talaga, wala. Kahit sino sigurong magaling na mag-vlog. Kaya nga nakita ko yung opportunity sa Hive at sa DBuzz kasi wala ka nang wala ka nang iisipin na domain, yung design, yung themes, ang daming binigay na sa iyo ng technology. Ang focus ka na lang sa pagsusulat. Yun yung gusto kong ipakita din sa mga kapwa ko vloggers na sana madala ko din sila sa Web3. Kasi andito yung dito na yung freedom at lots of opportunities. Yun ang nakikita ko.
Napapag-usapan na din lamang Brother Ed, at bago ko tawagin maya-maya si Sis Antoinette. Sis Antoinette, yan ka lang muna ha. Halimbawa, ano bang magandang panahon o edad para magsimula sa vlogging? I mean, syempre, marami tayong mga kabataan na mahilig ng mag-post ng kanilang mga content sa social media. Ano ba yung tamang pagsisimula dyan sa vlogging na yan? Kasi ako, nagsimula din ako ng kaunti. Parang expression ko lang naman pero kung kakaririn ba, ano ba ang magandang simula, Brother Ed?
Kasi yung sa pagbablog, based sa experience ko, nagsimula rin naman akong nagsulat ng ano talaga, yung para mga baliko-baliko yung mga English mo. Kaya kailangan hindi ka magpapadala sa bashing kasi pag nawalan ka ng gana sa pagsusulat at na ano yung sarili mo, nawawalan ka ng gana dahil sa hindi naman sa kung nagsusulat ka, hindi mo naman talaga ma-perfect lahat ng grammar mo, ng ano mo. Sa palagay ko yun yung nagtutulak sa iba na parang natakot silang magsulat. At maliban doon, yung common misconception sa vlogging na hindi ka pwedeng mag-vlog kapag wala kang domain, wala kang kailangan mong bayaran yung domain, kailangan magbayad ka ng hosting. Kasi meron naman mga libre. Doon ka muna mag-umpisa sa mga libre. I-express mo lang yung sarili mo sa pagsusulat at unahin mong tanggapin sa sarili na meron talagang magpupuna, makakapuna doon sa the way na pagsusulat mo. Hayaan mo lang sila, ang importante makapag-publish ka lang kahit hindi perfect, kahit hindi basta maumpisahan mo lang magsulat. At pag nagawa mo 'yun, huwag kang mawalan din ng pag-asa kasi ang nakikita ko din na isa sa mga hindrance, marami tayong nababasa na hindi ka pwede magsulat kasi kailangan ma-perfect yung grammar mo or mga negative. At yung ano na rin yung hindi naman sa minamaliit ko yung mga guru na tinatawag sa vlogging, pero parang hindi ako conforme doon sa tuturuan ka nga pero ipapasok ka lang sa parang merong affiliate sila na kailangan mo magkaroon ng hosting. Hindi naman dapat ganun eh. Dapat umpisahan mo lang ang importante makapag-umpisa ka kahit sa mga libre-libre para masanay lang sa pagsulat. Kaya walang edad, walang qualification. Ang importante maumpisahan lang at maging consistent. Iyon yung nakikita kong Sir Rodel. Anytime pwede ka mag-umpisa. Ang importante may naumpisahan. Yun. Walang requirements.
Alam mo, brother, parang na-imagine ko na talaga yung sarili mong craft, di ba? Bawat individual dapat makahanap ng sarili ng craft. Craft in a sense na ano yung hilig mo, kaya mo, ano yung gusto mong gawin. So, magsimula ka ng maaga, ipagpatuloy mo lang. 'Di ba? Kung artist ka, do your art, 'di ba? Kung teacher ka, teach, 'di ba? Ganon, kung vlogger ka, vlog. At syempre, in the long run, habang lumalago ka, habang tumatanda ka, ay para daw yung paminta, lalong bumabango, lalong umaanghang. Kumbaga, ang spices ng life ay nakukuha yan sa pagtagal. 'Di ba? Kasi we become masters of our own, 'di ba, skills. We become master of our own craft. 'Di ba? Ganun 'yun, brother. 'Di ba? Kaya nagsimula tayo sa maliit. Habang tumatagal, we are reaping what we sow, 'di ba? Ayan.
Yes.
Ayun. Naku, yan. Medyo pumasok na si Boss Chris. Unahin na muna natin si Antonessa, si Boss Chris para kumbaga magre-report ka din naman mamaya ng ating mga kaibigan, mga na-on board at yung iyong piso sale kaninang na matyagan ko si Antonette yung kukwento. So, Boss Ed, thank you very much. Ayan, at aking tatawagin na si Chris. I'll be calling Chris. Hey, good evening. How's the past week?
It's going well. I don't know if you noticed, but we released a new production version on D.Buzz, but it wasn't successful. It actually had a few bugs in it. And then we rolled it back, and we know it had bugs because we had a drop in users within 24 hours. And then when we rolled it back to the older version, which doesn't look as good, but it's a stronger release, the users came back. So we know that the current production that's live on DBuzz is fairly strong, does not have as many features, doesn't look as nice as what the next release will look like, but we're still fixing this bug on the next production candidate. Antoinette also experienced this. Ed experienced this, and maybe you have as well, Rodell. Hey, Raphael. Yeah, it's a white screen where we're trying to figure out why on the release testing right now on next.d.buzz, we're trying to figure out why there's a white screen sometimes on loading.
Yeah, when I was in Baguio, I was encountering that, and then I've been trying to turn off the phone and maybe restarted it. So somehow it works, but it goes for around a few days, but it's working fine now. I found it on my desktop very crisp. The design and the lighting is crisp and that's good, but it still shows some lag in the rendering of the image. Still, there's some problem with the image. It doesn't render that much. It slows. So I guess it's a work in progress. And sometimes in the mobile it's fast. Sometimes in the desktop it's that like now I've been doing the desktop. It's kind of slow, but on the phone it's a little faster. So it must be on the on the type of device at times that we are using. Okay. So how's the ActiveFit? I mean, the last time we talked is that there is an activity about ActiveFit, and I've seen some footage from the DDC. So tell us more about the ActiveFit activity or collaboration.
Yes, what happened was we were planning a very big event here in Davao City, possibly up to a couple thousand people at the event. But what happened was with the negotiations between DDC, I kind of coordinated, and Value Plan. There are some things that need to be fine tuned, and really, it's kind of like the devil's in the details. And one of the things that I might recommend is that instead of having these huge mega events, maybe having smaller events at first, maybe a couple hundred, maybe 300 to 500 people. But I use ActiveFit as in I published a report for the very first time today, and I realized just how many steps 10,000 steps really is, and I didn't complete 10,000 steps today.
Yeah, it's really difficult to achieve 10,000 because you need to really walk and even run at times in order to accomplish that. Maybe in just a subdivision, you will not accomplish that in just one roll. You need to walk and run the entire morning, I guess. So, 5,000 will be good, and you'll be upvoted by the ActiveFit curators.
I walked past a couple subdivisions, and it was still only about less than 1,000 steps. So 10,000 steps. I was walking for maybe about 45 minutes or 30 to 45 minutes. So I guess 10,000 steps would be 3 to 4 hours of walking.
And I noticed that there is a slight difference between mobile phone and of course your watch. So your wearables somehow have this different metrics to count. Sometimes it's faster on the wearables in your watch, and then your mobile phone is kinda lower than 100 steps, something like that.
Is that what happened? Maybe it's because I'm planning on getting a compatible smartwatch just for ActiveFit, and maybe Ed, if we do well, maybe Ed can get one of those too, and Antoinette as well.
Okay, so how about other projects? Those pending projects and activities. Can you give us an update on that?
Well, we're working to launch RedSart, but one of the things that we're doing is we're looking to have a clear plan in terms of the marketing, and we have a few consultants that we're talking to, and one of them we actually met in La Union during the Bitsquilla event, and he's successfully marketed an NFT game before, and I'm going to try to bring him on board, not just to RedSart, but into our business group here in Davao City. Later, I'll probably introduce him on DBuzz and in his podcast. But I talked to Ed about him. I met him through PJ, and he kind of seems like a prodigy in terms of marketing prowess. So he's encouraging us to, instead of launching Red Circ in March, he's encouraging us to really build a strong community ahead of launching Red Circ, so that the community is already there, not just a DBuzz community, but a ready to buy Red Circ community. So that's one of the things that we're working on doing.
Well, excited to see the launch of the Reds, and I hope that I have a lot of cards on the upcoming airdrop, so that I can test it out. And of course, ready to promote. Of course, I'll be promoting that heavily to all the friends out there. So, okay. Anything else? And before I call on to Antoinette.
Well, did you tune into the town hall podcast on February 1st, where Nathan announced that we'll actually be airdropping cards to active DBuzz users all the way back, stemming to 2020?
Haven't done it yet because I've been busy after the trip, and I'm in the palaro. I've been in the province-wide sports competition, so I'll be catching up later on. And how about the metrics of the leaderboard? So I noticed the leaderboard in the DBuzz app. There's a leaderboard there. I guess is it updated, or it needs a lot of more metrics to see who is on the leader? I guess it is not moving.
Well, one of the things is that I assign it to kind of a newer dev on DBuzz to get more familiar with Hive, and he did the metrics for that, and some of it wasn't. It looks like some of it is accurate, but not all of it, and so it's going to be adjusted. But in the middle of him adjusting it to release a new version of the leaderboard, same layout but different stats that are more accurate, that's when Hive Squirrel got hacked. Are you familiar with that?
Can you tell us briefly about that, so that our listeners can be acquainted of that incident? A little general.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly 100% what happened, but somehow somebody got access to Archange's servers, which is responsible for building and managing Hive Squirrel. Hive Squirrel, it's like a Squirrel database that's in between dApps and the blockchain, and it makes it easy for projects to pull data really fast. So we don't use that for the DBuzz front end. We only tried to experiment with using it for the leaderboard, given that it's a non-critical aspect of the site that we thought it's okay. And then the moment we dipped our toes in, it was just the wrong timing, and somebody hacked into Archange's servers and encrypted his servers, also encrypted his backup servers. So that was kind of like a wave of things happened last weekend, and that was one of them, where my Hive School essentially got hacked, and people lost access to that for a while.
Well, I guess it already settled, and Archange is already on top of the Hive witnesses and recovered everything. So one thing is also been discussed in the trending is the lowering of the HBD APR. So any comment for you from you about that, lowering the APR in HBD?
Yeah, I saw that at one time it was 19. I've been very busy trying to fix this beta release so that we could have a new version on D.Buzz. But I saw some complaints about it, and I don't know how much lower it went. But for a while, Nathan and I were thinking that it's great for projects that are able to raise funds to be able, in terms of sales or NFT games, to be able to fund their projects through HBD interest. But it's dynamic. It's up to the market conditions and basically the witnesses to determine the interest rates. So it's not something that can be guaranteed. I think the safety of HBD is much more. There's much more confidence in that than a fixed interest rate.
Okay, so good to hear that. And I guess this is the last thing that I will ask to you. How about the talks that we are doing with CoinsPH and other crypto exchanges? Any development or clue where the talks are heading?
So the biggest delay with Coins.ph, they seem very enthusiastic and on board, and even interested in doing free marketing. But what happened was they ran into somewhat of a legal deadlock because traditionally exchanges work with CEOs and they work with owners and maybe VCs, but Hive is completely decentralized. So who's going to sign the paperwork? So that's kind of somewhat of a challenge that needs to be overcome. A little bit of it is mixed with Filipino time. I mean, it's Crimson Clad, because Crimson Clad, she's the expert in terms of exchanges, and she's like, this never takes this long. And then I told her, well, I haven't been to that many countries, but there's a joke about Filipino time, so maybe things move a little bit slower in exchanges too here in the Philippines, but I'm not 100% sure.
So come to think of it, that is the always the dilemma of Hive. There is nobody to sign as a CEO. That is the strength, and yet that is also the obstacle of the blockchain. So it's really, and those who are already in CoinsPH, yeah, they are also saying they are decentralized, and yet they have CEO. Of course, those are the arguments. So, well, thank you for that, and I still wish that we keep on shilling CoinsPH to include Hive and HBD. I guess HBD should be included to 2 or more crypto exchanges so that the stability and the volatility can be controlled, and of course the liquidity. We need that, and the community are wishing that very, very much. So, Chris, thank you very much. Stay in there for a while, and let me call on Sis Antoinette. Sis Antoinette, kumusta ba ang mga kaibigan natin? Sis Antoinette, yan, nandiyan na.
Yes, hello, good evening everyone. Hello, good evening Sir Ed, good evening Sir Rodel. Yes, ang DBuzz update sa atin, last week, mga couple of weeks ago, nagkaroon ako ng meetups with newbies dito sa Cagayan de Oro. And at the same time, meron akong mga newbies on boards na galing sa mga Filipina pages, kung mga ganun, na mga groups na Pero yung iba, hindi pa gumagawa ng account, yung iba naman ay on board na at active na. Tsaka ang nakakaganda, Sir Rodel, alam mo hindi mo alam na magkamag-anak pala sila yung si Shane at tsaka yung si Maru. Kumaga si Shane kasi dati ko ng friend from Steam. So, active na siya ngayon sa DBuzz. Tapos, nagkita-kita sila doon sa DBuzz. Alam mo yung gano'n na malayo sila ng lugar. Tapos, bigla nagkita sila sa DBuzz. Tapos, nalaman ko na magkakamag-anak pala. So, hindi malayong mararating natin na baka ganun din yung mangyayari. Baka lahat ng mga magkakamag-anak natin ay magkita-kita na tayo sa DBuzz dahil sa parami na tayo ng parami. Yun. Na, hindi ko naman alam na magkamag-anak sila kasi sa ibang page ko nga nakuha. Tapos, yung mga meetups ko nung nakaraan is nag-active yung iba naman is hindi pa. Tapos, yung iba is merong ibang interesado na matuto ng long form. Sa ganon. Tapos, yung may mga iba na nagka-problema sa logins nila, yung tinatawagan ko yun, if ever kung may problema kayo sa mga invites niyo sa mga logins nila, inform nyo lang sa akin kasi hinihinga ko ng phone number para baka usap ko mismo para ma-detect ko kung ano yung problema kasi usually niyan, kung ang problema niyan ay hindi sila nag-successfully registered o kaya nag-double click sila sa downloads ng keys, mga ganun. Kasi marami na akong na-encounter ng ganun na kahit na ina-install na nila yung DBuzz app nila, ganun pa rin ang nangyayari. So, napakasaya natin kasi dumadami na yung users natin tsaka napapansin ko mga foreigners, ang dami. Mga tawag nito, mga taga Bangladesh, Pakistani. Yun, parami tayo ng parami ngayon. Hopefully, mas lalo pa tayong dumami. Target goal nga natin is 10K active users ng DBuzz. So, yun lang po muna sa ngayon, Sir Rodel. And
Chris,
to
any update on the MAUs of the DBuzz lately?
The MAUs, are you referring to the free internet access infrastructure?
Monthly active users.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, what happened was, I think a large part of it has to do with your work, Rodell, onboarding classes in the schools, and also Antoinette. I can't like separate. Like I'm not sure how much it like who's onboarding who, but the group effort in the Philippines. We are trying to break through 500 daily active users, and we just completely plowed through 500 daily active users, and we're about to plow through 600 daily active users. Or I'm not sure if it's daily active users. It's just what PeakD says active users are. But then what happened was that was when we released a new production version with bugs. It was unfortunately timed kind of when we were growing. So we fell down with that release, but we've since recovered, and PeakD has us at around 532 active users. But one of our software developers was actually in a motorcycle accident, so he's okay, but he had to take 2 weeks off. But when he comes back, he's going to bring back the Hive Dapps website from the real wolf. He's going to bring it back from the dead and resurrect it on D.Buzz/Dapps, so we can see better stats.
Okay, so actually there is still a lot of Hive user out there that is not yet posting on DBuzz. So it is only a matter of time and communications. So it is a bull market nonetheless, and we need to push DBuzz as a way for them to express their ideas as well as to incentivize their content. Any thoughts on on why? Actually, there is always a question why Hive is not following the steps of the top 10 or at least the top 20 of the coin market cap. So, any thoughts on how we can at least achieve a little upside on the Hive prices?
For me, it's a combination of things. We need site reliability, and that's one of the things that DBuzz works so hard to keep. Because what happens is that when we go out and we share the good news that Hive is Web3 and that a lot of things that people are interested in seeing in Web3 is already here on Hive. But if they come to our site and it's buggy or it's hard to log in, especially buggy, because it's understandable that Web3 is a little bit more challenging to learn and log in. But if there's bugs, it's a hard sell. But having said that, like what Ed has pointed out to me privately, despite bugs on Hive, people who use other Web3 products will have a strong appreciation for just how smooth and solid Hive dApps are. So the site reliability is number one. We're doing pretty well at that. At least DBuzz is, and other dApps like Ascensi, Hive.blog, and PeakD also have great site reliability. And the next thing is we need public speakers. Speakers that just go around and share a consistent message. And we need to have a message, one that's understandable. And I think one of the ideas is something that 3Speak is building. It's the breakaway communities on breakaway.community, where eventually Hive will essentially be the WordPress of monetized social media platforms, where you could just spin up your own social media platform and it will already have users on it, and you will be able to launch your own coin. I think we're going to have that this year, and definitely on time for the 2025 peak. And I think Hive's going to be all the rave, and we got a lot to be enthusiastic about.
You mentioned about the 3Speak. How is your collaborating and bridging the different Hive developer with the podcast? What the name of the podcast again? Startup Podcast, PH. Okay, so how is since we already have Essency, we already have 3Speak, and formerly we already, what is that? Another one. So how is the collaboration about that?
It's going great, and not only is it helping Hive, but it's also helping me in my personal development. Recently I invited Leo Finance to also participate on the podcast, and it's part of my work to promote all Hive dApps. And that doesn't mean I endorse all Hive dApps, but it's not up to me to select and choose which Hive dApps get exposure. So I'm interested in presenting all Hive dApps, and then people will then be able to choose. So yes, Leo Finance is actually going to get interviewed too, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing that interview. I don't get enough time to look at their podcast, but A Nomad Soul, he's an amazing host, and I do see a lot of intelligent ideas coming from Cal, where things that I've never said to anybody. When I randomly watch his video, like it's odd, because a lot of the things that he's talked about, not all of them, but some of his ideas, like I've done, or I'm doing, or I'm planning on doing, and I know he didn't steal my ideas, because a lot of them I didn't tell anybody. So it's just interesting how two different founders from the same blockchain can have similar ideas, and that's a good thing.
Well, it is good that slowly Hive developers, Hive apps are getting into the mainstream, the Philippine cryptocurrency discussion forums. So, although it is still a startup channel, and we need to support this channel in order for them to propagate the different crypto projects within the Philippine blockchain ecosphere. So, I expect a lot of more Hive developers that you'll be indulging to be interviewed in Startup Podcasts PH. And maybe Crimson Clad. I really have a crush on Crimson Clad. Yeah.
Oh, no.
She is good. Really, she's good as a speaker. Yeah, I really like her. So, yeah. Okay. So, anything else to add, Chris? Upcoming activities for next week?
Well, I'm next week. The next week, in a couple of days, we're going to try to release a new beta version today before we go to sleep, and then we'll test it. It will be on next.d.buzz. The white screen issue, it should be gone. We're working to fix that, and then we'll test it for about 2 days, and then we're going to release. If it's successful, we'll publish it on D.Buzz as a production release, and then if the users either remain the same or increase, that's confirmation that we have site reliability, and then we will release a dev report followed by an actual Hive proposal revision, because we've had discussions with different community members and stakeholders about what it takes to achieve partial funding.
Okay, I remember there is one, I think, that I reported to you that there is no account creation token remaining. So if in any case I've been onboarding a few account user, and we encountered that, so what we do is just wait for 24 hours or 12 hours before another set of creation tokens will be freely available.
Well, another thing that we may be interested in doing is actually having some sort of value plan partnership with your school. And the reason you might actually be, this might sound, somewhat unbelievable, but when you look at the numbers on Hive, DBuzz is the number, like either the number 1 or number 2. Leo Finance and DBuzz were both 2 of the top onboarders on all of Hive, according to, I think it's Archange. So, you're a large part of that. So it may actually merit having, a value plan partnership for your school. And one of the things that I'm interested in pitching is a software where you don't have to have account credits, but value plan will fund the 3, because you could burn 3 Hive to create an account. So the idea is we'll make customized software for value plan that if we partner with a large community, like say your school, you'll be able to onboard everybody just by burning Hive. That essentially, it doesn't add to the supply. It just, value plan will fund it, and then we burn it and could onboard entire communities, such as maybe your school.
Actually, I'm already running out of account creation token. I have accumulated around 20 during the early days when it is still easy to create a tokens, but it's already run out for some of the friends that I have, those who cannot really create an account, mostly on DBuzz. So I just create on my own. So I only have two more left to go, and I'm done. And still, my high power is not yet capable of creating. It cost me around a whole week in order to regenerate my RC to produce. That's 2 years ago. So it's really difficult to. It's really expensive. RC or the account is really expensive. I realize that now. So it's really valuable to have some funding or like at least an increase in RC in order to produce account. So yeah, yeah. So
Another thing that I would like to toy with is Antoinette is interested in building up the crypto and Web3 community in Cagayan de Oro. But, Batangas, because of you and all your students that you've onboarded, there's already a very large community of DBuzz and Hive users in Batangas. So, and some of these things take time. Like, we would like it to happen next week or next month. But sometimes it takes a long, months of planning until something that we've been thinking of transpires. But, we may be able to have some sort of Batangas event where, Antoinette flies in, Ed flies in, maybe I fly in, and that may be something that could lead to later developing other regions like Cagayan de Oro.
And also in far north, I guess Sotero is really active with onboarding also. Sotero. I've been I have been included in DBuzz, and he is very active now. Sotero. I mean, you check now, Sotero is very active now and onboarding a lot of people already on DBuzz. Well, that's I wasn't here. How's Antoinette's onboarding going? Because sometimes I can miss things. Like I just see a lot of class pictures, so that's why I could see the people onboarded by Rodell. But I also see people from Cagayan de Oro, which I almost always assume was onboarded by Antoinette. How is your onboarding going, Antoinette?
Yes, I only not on board from Cagayan de Oro, but also from the other parts of the Philippines because I am doing some marketing via online. Like for today, I did call someone from Pasig City, and then the other one, I think I saw him from the DBuzz page. He was sending a message from the DBuzz page, so I was assisting him, and then coaching him how to start on and luckily he had already created an account and started posting. So it's not only from Cagayan de Oro because my other ways of onboarding also is via online, such as from the group pages and also from the like before also from the Google, and I mean from the Discord. I think those people from the Discord, the foreigners that I have invited, they've invited their friends as well to on board on DBuzz because like for example, if they are from Pakistan, so I think they spread the good news of DBuzz. So because I've noticed that there are already other newbies, foreigners who are introducing on DBuzz, maybe they're doing something like that that they are also spreading DBuzz, not only by me but also by them. But started by me by sending them messages from the Discord channels.
It's good. Good job. We're doing good.
Yes, thank you, Sir Chris.
Okay, so what we are doing is really preparing. So most of the things that we are strategizing is to building this user base in the Philippines. I always think that we are planting gems. So on my part, I have these students, introducing them to blockchain and challenging them to earn $1. After a month, you have $1 from me. 55 pesos or 56 pesos. And already several times I have students being received around 55, 56, 57 pesos after they have transferred to me their HBD. So, and well, they are happy and they're happy. And I always reminded them, kulit them about DBuzz, and they are even calling me Mr. DBuzz already. Yeah, I have already a title in school. When they see me and they say hi and they say DBuzz hi. Okay. It's because I've been in a couple of times when I think there is a few more eyes on the school. I'm wearing the Hive shirt and the DBuzz shirt. Even in Baguio, I wear that for the whole day on the trip, so that many of those I can encounter can see. And even the sports, the last day of sports where my player won a silver. So I went to the stage using the Hive shirt, and then wow, so they have taken pictures of me wearing Hive. So
One of
more eyes on Hive.
one of the things that I would encourage you communicate is that not only is DBuzz kind of like the gateway into crypto, but it's also the gateway into additional opportunities. Because the people that you meet are not the traditional, like it's people who are usually have a lot of ambition, goals, a lot of self-development. Actually, Ed, he owes his job not only on DBuzz, but with another big data company named Targetron. He owes that to your podcast. I don't know if you know that, Rodell, but because he started joining your podcast, that's ultimately what got him more interested and led to his work on DBuzz and also in our business group with other projects. So your podcast has already created an amazing opportunity.
Well, nice to hear that. I didn't notice that all a lost stats of my profile having those impact, but I'm really active in pushing some messages on the comment section whenever I have time and get triggered about in Facebook post. Yeah, maybe that works. And to add thing, this one last point before the end calls. I noticed that there is an account called Hive Helps, and the target of this account is to donate to the needy, to the poor, or to the organization that take cares. I mean, this is also one of those use cases of Hive that I've been mentioning for years now, that it is a way for donating to a lot of charity works. If we can contact an organization, onboard them, they can use blockchain, Web3, Hive, DBuzz as a means for them to gather money, or at least funds, and more clout, more information, more awareness to their projects. And that is good in the Philippines.
Yeah, I was also thinking about that because I think you shared that, or I think it was you who shared that I happened to see it. Another way that these projects can actually create a new type of philanthropy and donations is that if they make a coin and then they choose like who gets rewarded, but the donors would actually buy that coin. So, one of the hardest things about launching a coin is that there's not enough buying pressure, there's not enough liquidity. But if you made it where the nonprofit distributes the coins based on the rewards of the community or who they're trying to help, a lot of talk has been about how, people can monetize using coins on like Hive and level 2 coins like Hive Engine. But what about actually supporting your values by buying into a coin that represents your values? I think that's something that we'll see eventually.
Well, it's just one of the so many use cases of Hive, and it's economics, it's tokenomics. So let's keep pushing Hive, and let's keep pushing this to the Philippine crypto sphere. Why I call it crypto sphere? It is really a big community, and as other blockchains are improving, let's communicate with them, and then boom, let's in the next bull cycle after this super cycle, we will better on the top already. So Chris,
We're gonna shine.
yeah,
Pretty sure.
Okay, so Chris, thank you very much. I'll just get last few words from Ed. Brother Ed, parting words.
Yeah. Yeah, yun. Thank you for the opportunity. Actually, I remember that when the first time that I was listening to your podcast, when I was still in my previous work, I work as a community organizer. So it got me the interest to return to blogging. That's the signals. So I owe some part of my whatever I'm doing right now. I've been hired by a US based company. So without getting me interested with the things they are doing with DBuzz, siguro andun pa rin ako sa sa kung ano yung nakasanayan kong trabaho. Kumbaga dahil sa DBuzz, isa yun sa testimony ng buhay ko. Kumbaga dahil sa pagpupursigi na simpleng pakikinig, sabi ko nga kanina na umpisahan mo lang kahit gaano kasimple. Ganyan naman talaga ang buhay. Kaya kapag meron na tayong pagkakataon sa mga darating na mga araw, kaya positive naman na makakapunta din kami ng Batangas at makapagbigay ng inspiration lalo na sa mga kabataan. Kasi alam ko maraming interesado, hindi lang nabigyan ng pagkakataon. Kaya meron ka ng community dyan at isa ako sa living testimony na pag maging active ka lang sa community, maraming mga opportunities. At isa din sa napag-usapan namin ni Chris ay kung paano namin magamit yung connections natin between sa Davao Business Group at maging sa mga nakakausap natin ng mga founders, yung mga napipicture natin ng mga startups. So later on nagbabalak din kami na gamitin yung isa sa pinaka-exciting na part ng hive blockchain, lalo na yung messaging, yung ginagamit natin na chat.D.Buzz. Meron kaming plano ni Chris niyan at napag-usapan namin na magagamit natin yan sa isang niche, kumbaga yung jobs opportunity online na sa pamamagitan. Pero medyo mataas-taas, malayo-layo pa yung natin. Pero yun yung isa sa mga napag-usapan namin na magagamit kung ano man yung mga connections, ano man yung mga nalalaman natin, magagamit din natin at makapagbigay tayo uli sa community. At ganun din, meron din tayong kahit papano connection din sa mga NGOs at yung sinasabi na makakatulong, darating din tayo sa ganong time na makakatulong tayo sa mga NGOs. At maraming salamat po. Paalala ko lang sa mga kabataan na gustong mag-vlog o gustong sumali sa DBuzz, umpisahan nyo lang. Umpisahan nyo makinig. Maraming opportunity na nag-aantay. Maraming salamat po, Sir Rodel.
Well said, Brother Ed. Well said. And yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for students, senior high school, and even individuals in blogging. It is really a mainstream work now. Blogging, personal blogging, yeah. It's a new paradigm. It's a new realm of work and creativity outlet. So, Antoinette, thank you very much, and hope your invites are doing good, and expected to see all the posts, and we're gonna upload that. Boss Chris, thank you very much. Till next week for the update, and yeah, keep on buzzing, keep on posting on DBuzz, and thank you very much. See you again next Sunday. Bye bye, guys. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Good night.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Ayan, nako, diyan po nagtatapos ang ating live stream. So, sana po, samahan nyo po uli kami sa susunod na linggo sa kung ano man ang mga topic. At kita nyo naman napaka napakaganda ng mga paksain na kung saan ay napag-usapan. Nariyan ang tungkol sa vlogging, nariyan tungkol sa update sa DBuzz. Aba, ay kayo po, kung kayo po interesado, kung kayo po interesado sa ganitong mga bagay, aba, ay kayo po mag-post na ng comment dyan sa baba. Ano? Mag-comment po kayo. I-message po namin kayo. Nandiyan po si Buzz Ed, nandiyan po si Sis Antoinette, nandiyan po ako. Pag nakita po namin yan, ay kami po yung magre-reply at magko-communicate sa inyo. So muli po, magandang gabi po sa inyo hanggang sa susunod pong ating podcast. Bye-bye po.